Ooh. We're starting like that today.
Yeah, babe.
Yeah, babe.
What's happening?
Man, I am excited about today.
I am too. The episode we are talking about is Chicago. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that means a lot to me because they call me the mayor of the city.
Born and bred.
Chicago. You know what I mean? I'm from there, born and raised there. Mm-hmm. The culture is in me.
Right.
I'm in the culture.
When you rewatched it, does it look, because they didn't obviously shoot it in Chicago, did it look like home? Did it feel like home?
It didn't feel like home necessarily, but it definitely looks like certain parts. It looks like a south suburb, I want to say. It looks like a definitely, or maybe like a north Evanston town or something like that. But
you just went like full mom right now. You're like, it looked like it could be north. You know, on the east side, I once saw, and my friend who lives on the west side said, Mom, you just said everything.
Well, yeah, it kind of looks like Chicago.
Yeah, there you go. Full compass.
The snow, when you add the snow to it, obviously, so they, fun fact, they added fake snow and then they also added cotton. They just had like cotton everywhere to make it look like snow.
Feels environmentally sound.
Yeah, but the inside of those houses definitely looked like Chicago-style houses, which you find those in LA in like East Side, the Pasadena, I think.
Oh, like on the west side.
No, not West Side. Those ain't West Side interiors.
That's true. It does feel like a very like Echo Park, Silver Lake, Eagle Rock.
But we shot it in Altadena. I think we shot in Altadena.
We're doing great today.
No, Pasadena, Altadena are like connected.
Are they?
They're like right next to each other.
I don't go out that way.
Come on, Hannah.
You know I don't like a long commute. If it's more than 10 minutes with traffic, I'm like, I'm busy. Come to me.
Yeah, you'll just get on a plane and fly to a different country.
That's fact. That's because LAX is close. I ain't driving. I'll get on a plane to see you.
You live in El Segundo.
I'll fly to Pasadena.
Y'all. You live in El Segundo.
Gather round. I like that. Yeah.
Yes. Let's round.
Mess around.
That's what I'm talking about. Stand all day. Mess around. All night. Look at that.
Hey, messing around. Okay, so in this episode, what are some of the themes we're talking about? We've got funeral etiquette.
Yeah, and the double life, the secret life of Nick Miller being a responsible human.
Which was so weird.
It honestly felt weird to watch.
100%.
I was like, wait, what?
Which says a lot about his family.
That's exactly what it does. It doesn't tell you anything about Nick, but it tells you everything about his family.
Oh, 100%.
Facts.
Also, we got some crazy Elvis themed things happening in here. Apparently, Walt was a huge Elvis fan.
Super fan.
So yeah, let us dive in.
Let's go.
So in this episode, after learning that Nick's father, Walt, has passed away, R.I.P. Walt, the gang accompanies Nick back home for the funeral. In Chicago, we meet the Millers, including his mother, Bonnie, and discover that they consider Nick to be the responsible one. Their family's screwed up. Meanwhile, Winston helps Schmidt get over his fear of death with some rather unique tactics, all while Jess tries to help Nick plan an Elvis-themed funeral. Let's go to break, and when we come back, we want to dive in to Chicago, written by Love Raquet, directed by Jake Cassidy.
All night. Look at that. All night. Look at that. All night. Look at that.
And we are back.
Oh, that was nice.
Something about Chicago makes me want to sing. You know what I'm saying?
Like Elvis. That was
Elvis.
actually very Elvis-ish.
Wow.
Every time we go to break, this is how you got to do it now.
I should.
Yeah.
Elvis used to steal from us, so I'm going to steal from him.
Yeah, steal it back.
Hell yeah, I'm taking back the power, Elvis.
That's right.
Nope. Shout out to Elvis.
Shout out to Elvis. About to get some reverse thievery going.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so.
Starts off with Jess walking the apartment with balloons.
Well, underneath me so horny.
I mean, who's buying that balloon?
I have no idea, but I found it to be really funny when Nick walks in and gets caught in the balloons.
Oh my gosh. Have you actually ever gotten kind of twisted up in some balloons?
No.
It does feel like they're attacking you from all sides.
100%, but I'm skilled.
The urge to punch is so fast with the balloon.
Well, yeah, because it's helium, and you know it's going to come right back.
That's right.
It's going to come right back. Yeah. Not for me, though, because I'm really skilled at the art of like balloon evading.
Yeah.
Something I've learned as a kid. Because
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I was told that if I held onto a helium balloon, I was going to get taken away to a white family, and they would raise me.
So you just started grabbing balloons?
Yeah. I was like, bye, y'all.
Lift me up.
We rich. Okay, yeah. So Nick walks in. He gets kind of messed up with the balloons. He's beating up the balloons. But the gang, they're all playing with the balloons. They're all sucking on helium, which is something you would do.
normal too.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, I'm not
gonna
sure of
lie.
the like ramifications of that, though. I don't know if they're negative effects of too much helium.
I'm gonna go with it's the amount of time that you would be doing it. Like if it's a daily habit.
Yeah, if you a huffer.
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah, you can't.
I think then there's just a problem in general.
Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's other things you should be thinking about.
That's right. Yeah, like once in a while, a tiny little squeak. We get it.
Uh-huh.
No, don't. No big inhales, you guys. It's very dangerous.
It can kill you.
That's right. Fact.
But obviously, the gang, they're all stupid. So they're just.
And it's television.
Yeah, 100%. So
Let's
they're-
just understand that. It's a TV show, not real life.
Yeah, but the thing is, Nick comes out of the room,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, his father died.
One of I forgot about this episode once again, and I genuinely forgot that this is how he has to like break it to the gang.
Yeah.
Is when they all have helium
yeah.
in their bodies, which would be truly like a living nightmare for me to sit there and have someone be so emotional and vulnerable and just in shock.
Yeah.
What a nightmare.
What are you going to do with that?
That's why they didn't talk.
Yeah, they didn't. And what I found
So
also interesting is that when they get to Chicago, which was in Altadena, I believe, and you get to meet his family. But right before we meet his family, Winston is like, yeah, well, you know, he loved me more than he loved you. And he's like, yeah, that's true. That was funny. So in this, we get to see Nick Kroll.
Yeah.
We get to see Bill Burr. Margot Martindale. We get to see a fun group, a real, like, they feel like the Millers.
Oh, yeah. The casting is phenomenal in this episode. I feel like everybody always talks about Taylor Swift and Prince, but this particular episode, it's all stars.
Yeah.
Like everyone is just like
100%.
Yeah, a phenomenal comedic actor. And they go full force.
100%.
Which is also so funny how committed they all are to the bit, which sells it, which gives you the relief because it's quite a heavy episode. And Jake really does play the dramatic.
Yeah, which is so interesting to see because you see Nick Kroll at an 11.
Yeah. And
He is
Bill.
at an 11, and Bill.
Yeah.
But Nick is at he is out of his mind in this episode.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like Nick is, you're right, he's the grounded one. And I don't think we've ever really seen that on this show.
Yeah.
Obviously when he's having his romantic moments with Jess, he's a bit more serious, but in some of the bits, like he's usually pushing the bits forward. In this one, he's like the adult in the room.
We got to see like two of the things I feel like Jake Johnson does really, really well, which is play that drama. He knows how to do it. He knows how to like be real in those moments. And he didn't get a ton of them in New Girl. He got a fair share, but not a ton. And this one was basically the entire thing. And we get to see Jake Johnson play drunk.
Yes.
Which is always the greatest thing.
Which is
ever.
which is his resting.
That's right.
That's his resting
It's a
energy.
sweet spot.
Yeah. Jake is always, well, because of his real life drinking habits.
Method acting in your 20s.
Yeah. He consumes a lot of booze in his body, which causes him to act a certain way. Like stumble over a shoe, perhaps. You know what I mean? Slur of speech. That's all Jake Johnson right there. Also, what's happening in this episode is Schmidt's freaking out, right? He's complaining about the suit. The airline, they lose his suit, so he has to wear Walt's suit. And you could tell he's being distracted just because ultimately he comes out with it that he doesn't like death.
He's scared of death.
He's scared of death, which is same here. You know what I mean? I go to funerals. I'm not afraid to go to funerals, but I'm afraid of death.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it. I'm like, I can identify that.
Yeah, but who's not afraid of death?
The Grim Reaper.
Okay, one.
Yeah, I know him. He lives over on Fairfax.
Yeah.
Right off,
I've seen him.
Fairfax and Beverly, I think.
Yeah. He just got a new scythe.
Yeah, good guy.
Is that how you say it?
A scythe?
Scythe. Scythe is a very, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the little hook.
Thank you.
The little.
On a long stick.
Now, sorry. With that thing.
Yeah.
Is he killing people with that?
Yeah.
Because I'm like.
Yeah.
So every time the Grim Reaper show up, it's
blade.
It's like a decapitation?
Yeah, he goes old school with it. It's a blade.
Because he be showing up when people got like natural causes happening.
Yeah, but they're already dead. So what's he doing?
What's the blade for?
It's just an aggressive cane.
Yeah, don't scare me, dog. I'm about to die.
Yeah, I'm already dead.
Yeah,
you're here to just like take me away.
You know what it is?
Flowers.
You know what it is?
Better.
You know what it is?
What?
You ever go on one of those you ever go to like the Coliseum and you do those tours, and it's like a big group, or you go like a museum.
Look at you, Mister. I've been to Italia, just a casual drop. You ever been to Rome?
It's not a big deal.
No,
It's not a big deal.
Not recently.
It's not a big deal.
Okay.
But when you have a tour guide, there's a group of people. They have those long little sticks with the flag on the end.
Yes, they
the
don't
Grim
lose
Reaper.
you.
That's what that is. When he's guiding you into the
You
afterlife.
think that's what the Grim Reaper has?
Yes.
Yes. He's like, this way.
Yeah.
Follow me to the next stop. We're going to do prehistoric Rome.
100%.
Got it.
We digress.
We've solved it.
Let's talk about Margot Martindale.
Man.
Nick's mom, Bonnie.
She's so good in this. I remember when they got her for this episode, everybody just freaked out.
Yeah.
They just couldn't believe they'd convinced her to do New Girl. I think it was also early days of New Girl where like Liz was still just so shocked and overwhelmed that all of these like heroes of hers who are friends, but like heroes of hers would come and do her show. It still was weird. You know, most comedy network shows are not getting this level of a guest star episode after episode.
Right. 100%.
It was wild.
Wild indeed. Like you said, she's a legend. And when you watch her in this, it genuinely feels like she's his mom.
Oh yeah, I know. You feel it deeply.
Yeah. She tells him that he has to arrange everything for the funeral. Yeah. And he's like, wait, what? He's like, I have to plan the funeral? He's like, what are you talking about?
But then he just takes it on. Again, it's like not a bit. And I think that's what makes this episode so heartfelt and such a huge fan favorite. He's just like, all right, I got it. And doesn't question the craziness of the funeral, the family, of anything.
Right.
Right? And he can do all of that. He'd much rather go try to find Elvis than actually then dive into himself and try to figure out what to say about his very complicated relationship with his father.
Right.
The avoidance of it all. To outsource the writing of your father's eulogy.
Yes. Which is, when my father passed, I was glad I didn't have to speak. Like, I was so glad I didn't have to speak. I just assumed they would ask me to speak. Yeah. But I preemptively let his brother know I'm not speaking. Right. You know what I mean? Because it would be hard to, Walt was always gone. So it would be really hard for him to kind of formulate. Usually in a eulogy, you're talking about that person's life and all these great things. But if you had a complicated relationship with someone, you don't want to get up there and just lie. You know what I mean? Like you want to try to be as truthful as you can, but if your truth is negative and it's their funeral, don't say shit.
That's right. Not the time.
Not the time.
Not the
Let
time.
them go into the afterlife.
Yeah.
Beautifully.
Work it out with your therapist.
Exactly. Go to their grave afterwards and have talks with them.
The Schmidt storyline did make me laugh, though, because Winston is genuinely, deeply grieving his father figure. Yeah. And the part that kept bumping me is Schmidt kept referring to Walt as a carcass. Yes. And I was like, look, I know you're struggling with this idea of death, but this is like a human being that meant a lot to the people that you are speaking to.
Oh, yeah.
But it's such a Schmidt thing that he is just so in his own narrow world.
Yeah, he has no idea.
No idea. He's
no
in
idea.
Walt's house with the wife and the kids.
Yes. And he's referring to him
He's
as
like,
the carcass.
I can't look at the carcass.
And what's funny about their even though Winston is grieving, he now has to coach Schmidt on how to be at the funeral. And he's practicing with him. He's rehearsing with him.
Yeah.
And I remember shooting that scene and thinking to myself, this is ridiculous. I was like, this is so stupid. But it was also so funny. Max is obviously a comedic genius. So I was just watching him do it, and I have to sit there with my eyes closed, almost like a guided meditation with him and coach him through this. He gives me did he give me a kiss on the forehead?
Yeah, no, he gets close. The part that made me laugh too is like I could hear like your real voice is when he's like, okay, just lay there and don't breathe. And you're like, I need to breathe, man. Like,
yeah,
you
I gotta
just
breathe.
gave
That's
this.
just for natural reasons.
It felt like that was just a very Lamorne response to be like, look, I'm going to do this crazy thing for you, but just, man, I'm not going to not breathe.
I think I
will be
improvised
dead.
that. I think I
it felt
improvised
like that.
Yeah.
I was like, this just sounds like Lamorne in his voice being like, listen, otherwise I'm dead.
What I found to be fun, I want to go back just slightly in that moment when Margot asks him to do the eulogy. One of my favorite lines that I've been quoting for years afterwards was when he's like, oh, I don't want to do it. And everyone's like, oh, you got to do it. And then Bill Burr goes, you just say a bunch of nice stuff in a row.
Yeah.
I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. And every time like something similar comes up, I'll kind of refer to that line and do a variation of that specific line.
It's pretty good advice just for public speaking in general.
Yeah.
If you're nervous or you're whatever, you have to go introduce somebody. Mm-hmm. Those are words of wisdom.
Say a bunch of nice stuff in a row.
Yeah, it's not that hard. I guess it's hard if you don't have a lot of nice things to say in a row. Mm-hmm. That's where it gets tricky.
We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I want to talk Elvis.
Yeah.
I want to talk Elvis. Mm-hmm. And we're back. So, so if you don't know Jake Johnson, this is what Jake does a lot, which I struggle with because for some reason casting and the creatives don't allow me to always put my friends in shit.
Oh, yeah.
Jake gets the whole damn squad on New Girl.
Yeah, that's true. I remember this. There was a lot of personal phone calls for this episode.
100%. So Eric Edelstein, who is one of Jake's, I think he's Jake's best friend. He's really, really funny. Really funny dude. But he's in a lot of Jake's movies.
Yeah.
Right? He also does his own stuff. He's in his own movies and things like that. But he's always in something Jake Johnson related. And he's in this episode as drunk Elvis. Yes.
Also, some of the funniest deliveries ever.
Yeah.
Drunk is not easy to play.
No.
It's not, because it usually feels really put on.
Yeah.
But when he's like, I'm going to some cake.
Yeah, I'm going to some cake.
Whose birthday is this?
Yeah.
Also really made me laugh. He has some really good lines in this. And I'm like, oh, how much of that is improv? Because with all of those people in the room, a lot of improv had to happen.
Oh, 100%. Whenever there's like a group, like a crowd of background and cast, and you have to like do a thing, you're gonna make shit up.
Yeah,
if you grew up in comedy and you came up in comedy, you start to feel like you're doing a set.
Well, it's also when you're on a set and everyone around you is quite serious because it's a business. So we got to get here. We got this much time. We got to get to the next scene. But you're with all these incredible comedians. What you're doing is just trying to make each other laugh.
Right.
So it's not even for like, I think this would serve the show if I improvise this line. Not at all.
Yeah, you're 100% doing it,
Yeah.
for the bits.
That's right.
For the laughs.
For the bits.
So the eulogy, Nick is having some issues with writing it, obviously, and he just can't. So he's really, we see him pretty pissed off at Jess. He's like, I'm not asking a lot,
Right.
but he's clearly asking for the biggest
I met
favor.
him one time during a heist.
Right.
Like, what can I say?
And so she really wants to help. And so the best thing she can come up with is dressing up like Elvis.
Yeah, that's where the switcheroo happens, right? I think it's not even that she doesn't want to write the eulogy. She just really loves and cares for Nick.
Yeah.
And he has such a complicated relationship with his dad. She got to sit firsthand and watch it at the racetrack.
Yeah.
And I think that she's just like, for you, forget about everybody else in the room, but for you, I think you need to talk this out and you need to say goodbye. That's what she keeps saying. But I also can like give some respect to Nick Miller, who's just like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. It's all very hard, and I'd rather just disassociate and sit in a pew and just process it internally.
Right.
But she's kind of forcing his hand on it.
A little bit.
And so I think, but that's that thing with someone who, you know, can love you so much and be like a little misguided,
Yeah.
not fully understand. But she does save the day because Elvis gets very drunk.
Very, very drunk. But
In classic Elvis style.
yeah, but before she saves the day, they are shooting their shot with trying to have folks do the eulogy. In fact, they ask Winston to get up there and say some words. And he cannot do it.
Breakdown.
He has a nervous breakdown and he freaks out. When I was doing that, I improvised 90% of that.
Sure.
That was like an extended bit. I think they were just like, just do stuff. You know what I mean? And I immediately went to Black Auntie at a funeral who is doing the most. And when she didn't really even care that much about the person who died, she's just, oh Lord,
You know, in
Lord.
Indian funerals, they hire professional wailers
Really?
to come in and do that, to like be histrionic, just to be like, "Wah!" to let out all
What?
the pain. Because a lot of people can't let the pain out. So they sit there and they just kind of get the ball rolling. And they just kind of do exactly what you were doing up
Holy
there.
crap.
Yes. Those are professional mourners.
I never knew that.
And they wail and cry. So I have been told. I've actually never,
I wonder if there's a union for them.
I've only ever been to one funeral. Unionized them. Yeah.
You get a whaler union. They were like, hey man, can I hire you for 2 funerals this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of people on like large boats with harpoons show up, and you're just like, hold up, different kind of whaler.
Okay.
Okay, so wait, so what you were directed by the Jake Kasdan for this episode. So what did he say? Just, do you remember? He was like, just go up there and just like
Yeah.
do all levels of mourning.
Yeah, Jake is very big on like levels and big on, options. So being silly, being grounded, being outrageous, those are all some of the notes that he gives you. Again, this goes back to, I want to say episode 1 of this season, where Nick is giving me fruity drinks and I say, so naughty. And I remember Jake screaming,
Jake Kasdan.
more girly, more girly. And I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, I don't know. He's like, try it like, and then I was like, I'll try something. He's like, yeah. And so I would do like these bits and then you can just hear him laughing and I'm like, oh, I must be in the right zone.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
To have someone who can't hold it together.
Right.
And is trying so desperately.
Oh yeah. So, now we go into, actually, before we go any further,
Yeah.
I do have a question for you. Hannah?
Wait, can we go to break?
Okay, we'll go to break, and I need you to get your shit together while we're And we're back from break. Hannah, I this is getting to be ridiculous.
It's truly, honestly, for the Where's the Bears segment, season 2 has been a struggle, and the struggle has been real. And I am with you on this particular episode because I am genuinely frustrated because the episode is called Chicago.
Yeah, you would think.
Bears.
You would think. Was there like a jersey in the background, like a Chicago Bears jersey?
Somebody rewatch and find it, screen grab it, tag us in it, because it feels impossible that there wasn't. I looked. I did not see it.
Yeah.
I've gone on the interwebs. It seems like no one else has, but I know these podcast listeners, fine tooth comb.
Yes.
They're going to go through this episode and find it.
And I'm disappointment is an understatement.
Listen,
You know.
even if something is like still 8 out of 10 times, you can still say it as a general rule, it's true.
8 out of 10.
6 out of 10 times for season 2. Listen, doing my best.
Hannah, the only bear you found was like
You said.
I said it. My character said it. Okay, so
Hep C. Okay.
So Schmidt confronts Quinn, who was trying to steal the chain of off of Walt's body.
The dental floss.
Yes.
But a thick floss. Mm-hmm. So funny.
So it's the chain.
Robbing a casket.
Yes.
Which, by the way, is like a real thing.
People do that all the time.
All the time.
Wait, they ain't gonna do nothing with it.
I mean, that's what I think people are thinking.
Yeah, they're like,
I don't know. So like that, I guess when you're like in the lineup to go pay your respects, you always want to be last in line.
Yeah, 100%.
Or first in line, but you can't be somewhere in the middle.
Ooh, I'd say last. I'd say you got to be last.
But someone might be quicker than you. Those fast hands, number one in line.
Yeah, they might steal all the good shit.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Just get some gold fronts. That's all that's left. You got to pop them off.
So you got to be like, I want to be buried with my favorite gold chain. Put it in my back pocket. Tell no one.
100%.
Don't let me wear it. He does something, though, in this scene where Schmidt is there wrestling over this chain that it gave me like a physical reaction because I was like, the idea of sticking your head in a casket. Oof. And then he's just like all day. And he just was like a little, one of those like bobbing for apples, little like goose things. You're just like, what is going on with you? And he couldn't stop himself.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he's getting over his fear. It's like when you have a fear of something, you have to just keep doing it.
I think he's having a psychotic break. I don't think he got over his fear. He's had a psychotic break, and he's like, I am death now. And you're like, sir, you have gone too far.
Funny thing about him screaming all day. Have I ever told you the story about All Day?
You maybe have, but I've forgotten. Say it again.
A very famous New Girl thing.
Yeah, but
All Day, right?
With Riggle.
I did that. And this is, you know, it's a New Girl family, and we all help each other out. But All Day was me.
You're the ground zero of All Day.
I am, because we were on the roof, and they're saying, he's like, I think the Schmidt's line was like, man, I can do this all day. And I was like, and I pitched him a joke. I was like, you gotta say it like all day. Like, all day. And so he started doing it that way, and it was obviously very funny.
Catchphrase now.
You know, his delivery was what did it. But then they started doing it back and forth. Then it became a thing.
It's a real thing. In this episode, I was like, oh my gosh, it's back. Yeah. I only remember it from the rooftop, and it's made multiple appearances now.
It's the only reason why I wanted to renegotiate my contract with New Girl and get paid more money because of like all my...
Can I get all day residuals?
Yeah.
All day.
They never let me renegotiate.
That's why we were canceled. We just figured it out. Like, you asked for that all day money. We would have gone broke at the studio. Cancel that show.
Never let me renegotiate. You guys want to talk about it?
I mean,
can we do a renegotiation episode?
Should we get everybody in the room?
Yeah, we're like, what went wrong, you guys?
Let's talk it out.
Yeah. Why am I sleeping in a van?
Yeah.
Can we talk about this?
This is your public eulogy right now.
100%.
Yeah. Keep it on the inside voice. Inside voice.
Okay. So we talked about Winston getting up on the podium. We talked about drunk impersonator. And we started hinting at Jess becoming Elvis, but we didn't dive into it. She goes for it. Right? She actually goes for it. She just
goes for it. The thing that I love, two things I love the most about her appearing as Elvis, the Elvis impersonator, is one, the suit fits perfect.
Yeah.
Eric is not a small man.
Yeah, I was like, how'd that happen?
That's a large man. And now we're in jeggings. Got it. So I love that. I love TV moments like that. They're not going to make her also like be in like this oversized suit. She looks great in it.
I got a feeling that was a Zoe thing.
For sure.
I got a feeling Zoe was like, hell nah.
Of course not. But it looks so, but I was like, that makes sense. Yeah. Otherwise you're distracted by the goofy suit. Second, it's Zooey Deschanel that's singing.
Yes.
A phenomenal singer. And she really like puts some like sauce on it. And it's a really good show. She sells it. I feel like if anybody else, maybe not you, but if Jake for sure, myself, Max, I don't think Max can sing, had to like do that whole bit, the comedy would have come from a different place. Let's just put it that way.
100%. Because I would have sang from my soul and my diaphragm.
You would have crushed it. You would have crushed it too. You can sing. Are you trying? Not Clayton. Are you trying to get on Broadway? What's happening?
Listen, I would love to get on.
A lot.
I would love to get on Broadway.
Really?
Listen, Broadway, if you're out there, if you're listening, if you're a fan of our show, please call me.
Just think it's a person.
I don't know
Mr.
who
Broadway
is, to be honest with you. You said Broadway, and I thought it was some dude. So, otherwise.
I'll do Broadway. Where's he from?
Yeah.
The east side of Chicago,
cute.
the west? Altadena?
What's up, bro?
What's up, Broadway?
So, what I found to be funny about this as well, you know, these typical TV moments, which make me chuckle. The whole damn church is singing in the ghetto. They're all singing in the ghetto, which I thought was really
Out of
funny.
all the Elvis lines, by the way.
Because Chicago's in it. In a cold and gray Chicago morn, another little baby child is born. In the ghetto.
I know, but I was like, man.
In the ghetto. When I first heard that song, I was like, Elvis, shut the fuck up.
What do you know, sir? What do you know?
But then Nick gets up there and he gives a very, very heartfelt, emotional eulogy.
Yeah, he had initially written the eulogy, and all it said was, Walt Miller, am I right?
Am I right?
Which I kind of get it.
Yeah.
He was like, y'all know I can't do this, and we all know what we know.
Exactly.
Am I right?
Am I right? Like, and that should be it.
And then he watches Jess go so far out of her comfort zone that it kind of gives him some courage.
Yeah.
To go out of his comfort zone and just speak from the heart. And he is honest. I thought that was really nice, like that line he says right at the end where he's like, I don't know if he was like a good guy or a bad guy, where he is like in the spectrum of humanity or whatever he says. And he's like, I just know I'm going to miss him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like a real sweet like way to end the whole thing without it feeling contrived or fake.
Right.
Or saying things that weren't true.
Yeah. No, it was truthful. Is what it was. And I think everyone in the crowd who knew Walt knew that this is perfect.
Yeah, it was. It was great.
Yeah.
Great writing by Mr. Love Rocky.
Now, after the funeral, they're back at the house. Right? Cousin Bobby tells Schmidt to stay out of Boston. He goes, I work at TSA. I'll put a gun in your luggage. Oh my gosh. That's pretty funny. Shout out to Bill Burr for being one of the greatest of all time.
Truly.
Not shocked that he was on our show, but like he's such even post New Girl, he became even bigger,
he's huge.
Global icon. You know what I mean? And to say like, oh yeah, we worked with him makes me feel old. It makes me, because it was so long ago, it makes me feel like, holy shit, because he had hair. This man had hair. You know what I mean? Now he rocking that clean
He's
shave.
Embraced a different look.
Oh man,
we knew him when he was a baby.
Yeah. Let's see. Winston tries to leave with Walt's hat.
In true Walt fashion, by the way, Walt would love it. He just goes in and just like robs the house.
Yeah.
Of all of his favorite things.
You got to take something.
You took more than something. You filled your pockets. You literally filled your pockets. You took a one-leg chair.
Yeah, but
Margot gonna fall down.
But I didn't take a gold chain. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't try to steal it. Like that wasn't in the grave with him.
Unscrewing one chair leg though feels a little mischievous. Very
weird.
Waltish.
A little bit weird. Let's see.
Oh, the tap of the shoulder. I was like, is that really a thing?
A tap
like sap on, like, did you see like Margot's reaction, right? The mom's reaction every time that Jess would tap her on the shoulder. She's like, you tap me?
Oh, yeah.
You tap me twice? And then at the end, she goes to tap her to get her attention. And she's like, oh, wait, stop. I didn't do it. I didn't tap you.
Okay.
I get it now. And I was like, is that really?
I don't think so.
Some people don't like being touched, maybe. It was just like such a specific thing that I was like, what is that about? Yeah. But she was like, don't touch me.
I love a good touching.
Yeah, a nice little tap.
Yeah.
I prefer it than a, hey.
Yeah, don't hate me.
No.
Although I'll take that back. If you run up on me and you tap me, because I'm always strapped. You know what I'm saying? For my protection. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And for the citizens.
Sure.
So as somebody like me, you tap me, you might You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't run up. So you can start with a Lamorne, say my name in a pleasant voice.
Say my name,
then
say
tap,
my
then I know
name.
you're a friendly.
I got it.
You know what I'm saying?
This is a lot of direction you're giving a human being that wants to approach you. Say my name first. Walk
my name
slowly. Extend
Yeah.
1 or 2 fingers, not a whole hand.
Don't yell Winston.
Light tap.
Light tap.
Yeah.
Gentle graze.
Yeah. Okay.
A gentle touch.
Say my God-given name.
Yeah. Because if you got strong hands and you put your hands on my shoulder, you're going to lose your feet.
I think that Nick's mom is based on you.
Yeah. It's just a
solved it.
Chicago thing.
Yeah, you
It's
are the
just
mom, you
Chicago
love the
thing.
dad. We're getting into
Exactly.
it.
And I love their moment, Bonnie, when she apologizes to Nick and says they depended on him too much, and he was just a kid.
The way that Jake reacts in it, where he's like, don't do it. Like he knows, and just like, don't.
Yeah.
It's like, we can't get too real here. We just got through this thing. It's really hard. But the fact that she then has that real moment and apologizes to her baby boy is like,
Yeah.
this is a really good episode, you guys.
And the tag, what's interesting about the tag, I think, because Jess is singing
Burning
Love as the funeral claps on. And she's reading, you see she's reading the lyrics.
Yeah.
I feel like she was just doing that, and actually that was Zoe reading the lyrics.
Oh, for sure. I feel like someone handed it to her and was just like, hey, let's just do one for fun. She's like, well, I don't know the lyrics. And then they just kind of
Used it
like
as
had
a
a big
tag.
sing-song.
And they used it as a tag.
And they did it.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we might use this somewhere.
Yeah, it's kind of fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, it was good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. Great episode. Heartfelt. One of those really special ones where you get to really see other sides to like the actors. You get to see an all-star cast, and you really get to know one of, the beloveds there.
Ellen Albertini. Was she's the older she's the older
Oh, the weed?
You got any weed?
You want some of my weed?
I think when we were there, it was her like 90th birthday or 90 something crazy or 99th.
That's right.
Yeah, can we look that up really quick? Ellen
Yeah, she was. That's
Albertini
right.
Dow. How she passed away, but unless she didn't, and I'm just saying it, but I'm sure she did. That sounds bad.
She passed away at 101.
101, there we go. There we go. She was 99, I think. when we
That's
shot
right.
it.
It was right
was her
before
99th
her
birthday.
100th.
Yep.
Icon.
Ellen
Icon.
Albertini Dow.
That's what I'm saying. It was everybody in that room was incredible. And I think that's why all those bits between like Bill and Nick and everybody just worked so well, because it wasn't even for the show. It wasn't even for the story. They were all excited to be in a room together with that level of talent.
Yeah.
Everybody. And it was just the bits. And they all made the show.
Yeah. I mean, you got a bunch of home run hitters. You know what I'm saying? You got to put them points on the board.
That's right.
We're going to go to break. And when we come back, Hannah and I are going to do a little bit of messing around. Babe,
Yeah, babe.
ever experienced a funeral as wacky as the one the Millers threw?
I've only ever been to one funeral in my life.
How you get away with that? Everybody just alive and shit?
Staying alive. Staying alive.
Dang.
Yeah, I've only.
Well, you
ever
just
been to
avoid them.
one. I've never been invited to another one. Maybe what did I do with that first one?
I mean, damn.
How many funerals have you been to?
A lot.
Really?
A lot of funerals. If I said 100, I think that might be accurate.
Are you being serious?
I'm being.
How old were you when you went to your first funeral?
As a kid, I remember one of my first funerals was because I grew up in the church, and there was a lot of older folks that were passing away. When I was a young kid, there were a lot of people that were already in their like 80s, 90s. So you'd go to those funerals. And then my cousin was killed in Chicago when I was much younger. And I remember going to his funeral and it being really weird because I was like, this is my cousin.
Yeah,
Like we played he
somebody's
taught me how to play basketball. And so I don't want to say I got used to it. I actually don't like funerals, but I feel it's necessary to pay respects. Like I've been to you name it, man. I've been to way too many funerals. Close friends, family members, yeah, it's really weird. It never gets easier. Even if you weren't super close to that person, never gets any easier because you absorb all the pain everybody's going through.
Sure, yeah.
And but the question is, ever experienced a funeral as wacky as the one the Millers threw? And the answer is my own father's funeral.
Was wacky?
It was weird, man. It was in Belize, and shout out to Belize, a beautiful place. But man, some of those motherfuckers over there did not handle the funeral properly, which annoyed me. We were, you know, when you leave the church and you're taking they drive the casket to the cemetery, and they're lowering it into the ground, etc. This was different because of flooding and all that type of stuff. You really, you when you buy a plot, you bury the family on top of each other.
Oh my goodness.
So they're stacked on top of each other. So my grandfather's grave was right there, and my father's was on top of his. Now, you're watching them, and usually like there's a hole already in the ground. There's like a machine that lowers it, and then you start putting dirt over it, and then they do the rest when you're gone. This one, there's a casket, but then there's a cement box, and they are building the top of the cement box because he's literally in a cement block, and they are building it in front of you. And the dude who was doing it, it's almost like he didn't realize it was a funeral. This man breaks out his phone and starts playing like crazy, like raunchy Jamaican or like Jamaican-ish music, like
just a wind down,
just like loud, like turned up music, and everybody's sitting there in their suits, like sad, like sitting watching this happen. And he's got the bucket of cement, and he's just like, and then his boys aren't helping him, and he's like cursing them out. Like, because they need to bring over more buckets of cement. Oh. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like pissed off because nobody's helping him. And I'm like, should I help him? I don't understand what this process is.
Like, can somebody
give
me the
And then finally,
guidelines?
one of my dad's cousins had to go over and like whisper in the man's ear. She like pulled him to the side and was like talking to him. And he's just like frustrated. And she's like talking to him. And then then he goes back on his phone. And he puts on some like soft Bob Marley.
He's like, I got it. Hold up. I can fix it.
Every little thing. That's what he played. Gonna be all right. And then it was like, all right. Okay. And then he was like much more kind because he was just throwing the cement down and like pissed off. And I was like, man, if you weren't stronger than me, I would whoop your ass right now.
Wild.
Yeah, so that one was pretty wacky.
Yeah, that would stay in my brain too.
And then you know what? We can cut. This is something that pissed me off too. I don't know this lady. She comes up to me at the funeral, and keep in mind, my father I hadn't talked to him in 30 years, right? And she comes up to me and she's like, you know, you could have reached out to him. You know, you could have done this and you could have done that. And I was like, and we were at the funeral. And then it took everything in me to not just like, because she don't know. She really doesn't know.
Sure.
But my sister ain't so chill. My sister was like, you can go. No. That's enough now. Mm-hmm. No, that's enough now. And she's like, oh, I mean, I just say, you know, you could have called your father. You could have done, she's like, you can. Mm-mm.
Time and place, mama. Time and place, mama. Like, you better move.
I was like, yeah, you know, yeah, you know. She's like, get the fuck out of here. Wacky funerals. Anyway, let's see. Oh.
Yeah.
You ever see those funerals where they like prop deceased people up in a chair, or like they bury them in their like Cadillac, or they have them like like watching the game.
Only like Weekend at Bernie's. That's the only time I've ever seen anything like that. Is that movie where I was like, this movie is just, this is a horror film.
I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen giggles. Like. Have you ever seen those though?
Never.
I'm like,
your algorithm is crazy.
Yeah, World Star Hip Hop.
Yeah,
they do some crazy things on World Star Hip Hop. But I've seen dudes in like Cadillacs that are like sitting there like this with like a blunt in their mouth.
But you know what? Why not?
Hey,
do whatever you want to do.
Honestly, it feels expensive.
That's all right. It's your money. If
Why
that was
not?
your money, you're like, this is what I would like it to look like after I'm gone. Do you. Spend your money after you're gone. That's fine. Make him do it.
My favorite is I think it was in Scotland or Ireland, I forget where, but there was a guy who died and had a speaker in his casket. And as people were coming up, like he was in the ground, and as they were putting the dirt on him, he started going, wait! I'm still alive. He's screaming
That's
like,
some deep trauma.
I'm still alive.
I don't even like that story.
He's like, don't do this to me.
Why have jokes to the end?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
People really do love Elvis. Do you know anybody like this?
I feel like I know so many people, like my mom's friends, who are like hardcore Elvis fans, and they just want to go to Vegas. They want to go to like see all the Elvis impersonators. They want to get married by Elvis. The whole thing.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I don't understand it.
I mean, it's not that I'm not an Elvis fan. You know, I love his Unchained Melody, his live version of Unchained Melody. It was one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube.
Sure.
I watch it all the time.
No, you do not.
I do.
You watched it one time.
I watch it all the time, and that's my go-to karaoke.
How does the song start?
Oh, my love.
Oh, go.
My darling. Unchained Melody.
There we go.
I've hunger for your touch. We can't sing that, right?
We're probably gonna get in trouble. My God, that's very
he's
good.
He's like sweating and stuff. You know he's on drugs. You know he's got all the crack coming out of his system.
Yeah.
And he's like, hi. And he's like going on and on. And you're like,
keep
oh,
moving.
that man on that Ray Charles. That man.
It's feeling good.
He's shaking and he can see. Okay.
What an episode.
100%. I love this one. And I hope you all loved it too. Obviously, you did. That's why you're watching this podcast. And that's why you're listening. Thank you for listening. And be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Mess Around Pod.
Yeah. Get
Oh.
some of this cute stuff.
Whoa, look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
You got big titties like me and you can fit it.
Oh my
Look
gosh.
at them
You had the
titties.
reduction surgery for a reason.
Yeah. Oh,
It's in the past. We will be back next week with episode 2, 1, first date.
first date.
First date o'clock.
That was The Mess Around. This has been an iHeartMedia production. Our executive producer is Joelle Monique. Our engineer and editor is Mia Taylor. Additional production from Daniel Goodman, Wendy Heisler, and Kyle Chevron. Our theme song was written and composed by Ronald Jukebox Jackson. So we're going to catch you next time. Bye.